is Srihari. I'm doing internship at LEXIS and Company. I'm studying at Presidency University, Bangalore. Today my topic is theories of punishment. Theories of punishment in the IPC. It is one of the most important section that we should understand before going to the types of IPC, types of punishment. Sorry, not IPC. So, what is punishment? Punishment is primarily used for a method for protecting the society from the wrongdoers or criminals. It has mainly three types of the reaction that are against a criminal, that is punitive approach, preventive approach, therapeutic approach. If you want, the spelling is THERAPEUTIC, approach APPROACH. So these are three approaches are mainly we should understand before going to the four punishment that are mainly categorized. So if you talk about preventive approach, it seeks to eliminate those criminals or crimes that have happened in society, which can be preventive in measure keeping in jail by reducing the crimes. And punitive approach means it considered a crime which is notoriously dangerous person who deserves a severe punishment. And the last, therapeutic approach, it aims at curing the criminal tendency where the product of the disease psychologically where he got affected. So these are three types of approaches mainly. Coming to the, as I said, the four theory of punishment that are mostly there, because in most of the ancient time I think these four theories have been very important: deterrent, retributive, reformative, preventive. So coming on the topic of deterrent theory means it objective of the punishment is not only to prevent wrongdoers from doing wrong second time, but also it is an example for persons who have a criminal tendency to reduce. In most of the foreign countries, especially in times where in England the small cases were stealing and forgery and other minor offences had dealt with this deterrent theory punishment. For ordinary crimes they have given the severe punishment for death by stooping and whipping. In India, the death sentence of the mutilation of limbs were imposed for pay offences for forgery and stealing, etc. However, this theory was more criticized on the grounds that it has proved an ineffective ways and checking in crimes, because most of the crimes that have happened does not believe that preventing a wrongdoers from doing it second time, but also makes an example for other person's criminal tendency. But this cannot be applied in this real world. In this era, there's capital punishment, hanging the person. So there are the different types of punishment that are severe for these crimes. So preventive theory, this is another type of simple punishment that are given where they have put in jail. The objective of the punishment is to not to repeat the offense again in future by putting them criminals in a jail. Whereas in retributive theory, it talks about, this is one of the most difficult punishment, that is called criminal can take, sorry, the victim was allowed to take a revenge from, not revenge, the victim was allowed to take a revenge from the wrongdoers, like it's an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, nail for a nail. So some of the advocates argue that the criminal should suffer a punishment. The suffer must be imposed by the state in corporate capacities, considered a political counterpart of individual revenge. Whereas in reformative theory, if we talk about, it is the object punishment to reform the criminals from classifying them to criminals into more moral aspects. If you see in jails, most of them have the vocational courses like carpenter, gardening, etc. So these are the part of a special treatment that can reform them into the moral aspect. The objective of this concession given to offender is to convince him that life free of crime is better than life in jail. So these are the four types of punishment theories that have been formed, that are deterrent, preventive, reformative, and retributive. And what are the three types of approaches that were made in the theories of the punishment? So the objective of protecting the society is sought to achieve by these four theories of punishment, that are deterrence, retributive, preventive, reformation. Of these, deterrence is usually regarded as the main function of the punishment, and others being a merely secondary kind of a punishment. So these are the 4 kinds of punishment and the approaches that should be considered before. So if you have any query, you can comment on the chat box. If you like, subscribe, please share. This video is for an educational purpose. Thank you.